Prinz in there along with Milano to make the stop. Defensively for Sterling, a 5-yard loss. So Sims is carried now 3 times for -5 yards. 3rd and about 15. Again, receivers split left and right, 2 each side. A quick over the middle to Price, and he is open. Well, look at his speed. Tackled at the 30, but not before a first down for Haddon Heights.
That's a great formation that time. It's almost like a pop pass to the tight end. It's just a real quick slant where Price gets some room and some momentum to run. And how about the touch Derek Armall is showing right now? A guy that was a wide receiver up until this season. Of course, Haddon Heights has had some outstanding quarterbacks the last few years. Tracy Moore a few years back. Last year, Dennis Scuderi.
2 for 2 passing so far for Armall for over 50 yards on this drive. The first offensive possession for Haddon Heights. 1st and 10 with the ball inside the 30. Armall again looking to throw. He's got Benjamin again. Benjamin for a short gain across the 25.
Well, what they did, Jack, they cleared out that area with the wide receiver. They had Benjamin in the slot. Benjamin open there. But we have a flag.
They picked up 7 yards, but we'll have to wait to see again about the penalty. 2 penalties so far on Heights for 30 yards here in the first quarter, and they're going to get some more here.
Yeah, it was a procedure that time. Maybe there was a reason why he was so wide open from that slot position.
And of course, the 30 yards doesn't really, now 35 yards in penalties, doesn't really tell the story because they had a huge gain wiped out and another 7-yard gain there. So the net yardage coming off these penalties much worse than just the penalty yardage itself.
The thing about Armall is he's taking some short drops, not giving the Sterling pass rush any time to get to him.
1st and 15 now for the Garnets. Delay give to Sims. This time he struggles across the original line of scrimmage, and that is shoved backwards. I think maybe a yard. That was it for Sims.
Got a pretty good initial block there by the guard, Ed Eckert, but couldn't break it through. Sterling's done a great job closing in on ball carriers today.
3:45 to go here in the first quarter. Still no score.
These are the plays that have killed Sterling, though, when Heights has been 2nd, 3rd, and long and been able to convert.
It's 2nd and 14 now. This time they go trips left. Price at tight end lined up on the right side. Looked like we may have movement there. That was a funky looking play. Sims tried to work through traffic, but again, Sterling is there defensively. In the backfield in a hurry that time was Rob Prinz, who really disrupted any momentum that Sims was able to get. He picks up only a yard. It'll be 3rd in the long 13, maybe 14. 3rd and 14. No pickup for Sims.
Again, these are the plays where Heights is like to go with those short passes. Price is splitting out a little further wider there in the slot.
Armall going deep. Contact. The ball nearly picked off. Now a penalty flag is thrown. Now there was contact back there, Mark, with Nick Washington, where the flag is thrown, but the ball I thought was tipped prior to that. May not have been tipped prior, but there was. They're going to talk about it here.
I did not see anything unless it's offensive interference that time. There were 2 people in the same area, Maurice Benson 6 and Price. Both of them drawing the attention. I do not think this was on Sterling.
No. It doesn't really matter what we receive, but we're going to have offsetting penalties once again. How about that? Interference and then a face mask. So Heights gets another opportunity here on 3rd and 14. Almost certainly will go to the air again here. They go trips to the left side. Price at tight end to the right. Everybody going left. Armagh having to take off with the ball now. He's still on his feet. Tripped up nicely by Terrell Jackson, the linebacker, after he got across the 30 to about the 27th. That'll be well shy of the first down.
Great job, too, by defensive end Steve Libby, number 85 for Sterling. He turned him inside, did not let him get out there, and then the defenders were able to close in on him. Good job by Libby, as we have our first time out here for the Garnets.
They'll stop the clock with 1:56 to go here in the first quarter. Still no score. Armagh staying right next to the official there. I guess he's okay now. He gets up and heads over for the timeout.
Well, give Sterling a little bit of credit, because that time on a rollout, Sterling a little bit better position that time.
Well, Sterling defense has done a pretty nice job on this drive against the run, Mark, but the two big pass plays for over 50 yards have been the thing that has Heights threatening here. And they'll take another whack at it, certainly with the ball inside the 30-yard line, and looking now at 4th and 9.
Jack, big Colonial game last night. Woodbury flanking Haddon Field, 19-0. I've thought all along Woodbury's going to give Paulsboro a real serious run this season. I don't think there's any question that after last night, Woodbury showed it's the top challenger to the Red Raiders and their 51-game winning streak.
Well, certainly Woodbury and Paulsboro at this point would be the class of this Colonial Conference. I agree with you, Mark. If everybody's going to have a shot, it's probably going to come from Woodbury.
Some people thought Haddon might have a shot at snapping Paulsboro's record. I don't see it.
4th and 8. Another opportunity for Armagh, who takes a long drop back, and then they use a middle screen to Price. He avoids one tackle, stays on his feet. Jackson hits him inside the 20, but he'll be very, very close to a Heights first down and may just have it.
That was a great delayed screen to the tight end. Price stayed in there, looked as if he were blocking. In fact, he did block, and tremendous protection again for Armagh, and then he released at the last second and they hit him.
I think they're going to have to measure this one. They're awfully close. They needed to get to the 18-yard line, and I guess by sight it's enough. First down for the Garnets, so they convert on another 4th down play. Keep the drive alive and have a first down inside the Sterling 20. Armagh now 3 for 3, Mark, passing so far.
Guys up front, Doherty, Eckert, Cooney, Hermie, and Preen really giving Armagh a lot of protection.
Trips right this time for Haddon Heights to give to Sims. This time he goes straight up the middle and fights his way to the 11-yard line. That's the most productive run so far for Ed Sims.
Now, Justin!
Second down and 4.
Nick, favor the trip! Libby gotta step this side, gotta get him.
Armagh rolls to his left, will tuck it under, keep it himself. He's on his way. Touchdown, Derek Armagh.
Derek Armagh, the quarterback keeper. Touchdown, Haddon Heights.
Jack, has a nice formation. They went trips right that time. He ran it the other way, and what they did was they had Price on that left side. He made a nice block as he went in, but Sterling is so aware of Price maybe going off for a tight end screen when they see Armagh rolling out that he can't totally commit to him.
Point try. Number 67, Matt Kennedy.
The point after by Kennedy is through the crossbar. And so with 39 seconds left, Haddon Heights jumps out to a 7-0 lead on the strength of a 12-yard touchdown run by Derek Armand. Interesting that the drive began with a big run by Armand that didn't count, but he was able to cap it off with the 12-yard scamper for the TD.
You know, and the other thing is, you know, Sterling is known as a team that wants to run a lot of clock. How about Haddon Heights? That drive started with 8:02 left in the quarter. Now there's only 39 seconds left. 13-play drive, 74 yards. I'll tell you what really has to impress you. We knew about Armand's scrambling ability, but how about the way he threw the ball and the touch he had on the tight end screen or the long passes? And right now the difference has been the play of that Haddon Heights offensive line. Armand's had plenty of protection.
3 for 3 passing here in the first quarter for 60 yards.
Back deep for Sterling.
Sterling, on the other hand, struggled in their first offensive possession. Went 1, 2, 3 and out, got a penalty on the punt. And then went 3 and out after the penalty. So the home team down 7-0. And Kemeny will get set to kick it away to Sterling once again. Meek Washington, right up the middle. Washington to the 34. Hey, Mark, Washington was about 1 block away from breaking that time.
Absolutely, and again, you know, Jack, you talk about the young players. He's one of those young, impressive sophomores, but you have to say this, there are still sophomores. It's a big jump up to this level.
This probably will be the last play of the first quarter. 33 seconds remain. Barikian tries to get around the end and cannot. Quickly there on defense was Mel Leary, sophomore end for Haddon Heights.
Well, what we're seeing is Haddon Heights playing 8-9-man fronts. They're basically saying to Sterling, you're going to beat us. We have to see that you can throw the ball right now. That's going to make it very, very difficult to run it here.
There you see the time remaining in the first quarter, top left-hand portion of your screen, and that will do it for the first quarter of play. The scoring from Haddon Heights came on a 12-yard run from their quarterback, Derek Armand. That has given them a 7-0 lead after 1 quarter. We'll be back with more football for you here on Garden State Cable TV, Channel 2 in a moment.
Pay-per-view is your choice for top Hollywood entertainment. With pay-per-view, the hits come right into your home, hassle-free, instantly. It's the easy way to treat friends and family to first-run fun. And everyone watches for one low price, making pay-per-view one of the best entertainment values around. Just pick the showing you want to see and follow the simple pay-per-view ordering instructions. Before you know it, you'll be enjoying a movie of your choice right in your home. Big hits, small price. There's nothing to it when you pay-per-view it.
Made up my mind. What are you gonna take?
Algebra.
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 If no one's explained how algebra, geometry, and calculus can improve your future, demand that you be told. Call NACME. We'll tell you.
A 7-0 lead for the Haddon Heights Garnets as we get set to start action here in the second quarter. I'm Jack Hibbert along with Mark Narducci. Quick trap play up the middle and a penalty flag thrown late on this play. Gray was the ball carrier and he picked up about 5, but we'll have to wait and see about the flag. It's a legal use of the hands, I guess, or against the defense. So another penalty against Haddon Heights, who was penalized 4 times for 50 yards in the first quarter. And a 15-yard penalty here.
Illegal use of the hands, the face.
Said 15, of course, that's a 10-yard penalty. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Knights with the ball now at the 47-yard line. Again, the pro set, line up in the eye. Man in motion is Macario. They'll keep it on the ground, go straight up the middle. It's Gray again across midfield to the 49.
I'll tell you what, Shante Johnson, the defensive tackle who made that play that time, Jack, has really been impressive so far in the early going. They've just not been able to blow him off the ball.
Sterling finished the first quarter with only 14 yards of offense. Of course, Heights had the ball offensively for the bulk of that quarter. Just 1 series for Sterling in the first. Jackson with the quick hitter up the middle this time. And good yardage across the 45 to the 44.
That's the way I would thought Sterling would try to attack Haddon Heights, because Heights is so quick on the defensive ends. I thought up the middle that they would try to do it. As we mentioned, Johnson's been making a lot of the plays. The key's going to be getting those big tackles out of there and getting some room for these running backs.
Third and 1 after the 5-yard pickup by Jackson. Again, Macario lines up in the slot. This time he stays put, but flags before the play is able to get off. That may be just as well, because Jackson was stopped immediately by Price and Johnson.
The delay of game and Sterling.
Sterling did not get the play off in time, so they'll, instead of a 3rd and 1, they'll have a 5-yard penalty. It'll be 3rd and 6 now. Big difference in this play, or at least in the ease of picking up the first down.
I think now you have to roll out Barickium, try to give him some sort of pass run option here.
Same formation. Barickian on a play action pass will roll to his right and keep the football. He stays on the ground, has the first down across the 40 to the 39. Nice call, coach. 10-yard pickup for Barickian. That is the first down of the ball game for Sterling.
With the exception of that penalty that gave it to him. I think you're going to see more of that with Barickian. I mean, he's a dangerous guy. He makes good decisions, and he'll finally spread Haddon Heights' defense out a little bit.
Macario this time in motion from the left side. Jackson with a punishing run to the 33. Boy, he ran right over Ed Eckert that time. Second and 4. They'll stay with a hot hand. Jackson drags Price this time to the 26 and another first down.
Jack, Haddon Heights is so quick on defense. Number 90, Shante Johnson, again, almost got the ball before Barickian was able to hand it off. Give him credit for getting that off to Jackson. Jackson now really running hard.
6 carries, 29 yards for Jackson here in the first half. 1st and 10 for Sterling. Again, it's Jackson. Jackson again with a good pickup to the 20, maybe the 19-yard line. A 5-yard pickup for Jackson.
You know, Haddon Heights comes so fast and has so much team speed. Sometimes the Garnets get in a situation of actually overrunning the play. I think that happened that last time.
2nd and 5. Again, Jackson. This time a little tougher working room as the play is sealed off nicely by the right side of the Heights defense. Pickup of just 2.
Murphy. Where's Murph? Murph.
3rd down and 3. For Sterling. Again, Gray and Jackson in the backfield. It's been almost exclusively Jackson in this drive.
Probably will be again. They're in 2-down territory here.
No, this time it's Gray, and he slithers through traffic, takes a big hit, but not before he gets the first down across the 15-yard line.
On the tackle. That'll be a first down.
Well, Sterling right now, Mark, moving the ball pretty effectively. They've done it all on the ground. There has not been a pass attempt by Sterling here in this first half. And I think if you're Heights, you've got to start to be a little bit concerned here. They're picking up 4, 5, 6 yards at a time.
Yeah, they're winning at the line of scrimmage right now.
Not this time. Big sack by number 90, Shante Johnson. And you mentioned the speed of this Heights defense. I mean, Barikian didn't have a chance.
Now they're getting the ball right as he's getting it snapped. Watch Johnson this time.
Nobody touched him. I mean, not a blue shirt in the area. Fortunately, that happened so fast, they only lost 2 yards on the play. Second and 12 now after the sack. Barikian rolls away from the pressure. He's got lots of room in front of him. Will carry the football down to the 6-yard line.
That's it, Barikian. Let's go offense. Put some points on the board.
Jack, great job by Mario Milano, number 54, the right guard. As again, Price was ready to take his head off. Milano got the right block in there, and Barikian was able to scramble.
Ball spotted at the 6-yard line. They need to get to about the 3 for a first down. So it's 3rd and 3. Again, Gray and Jackson split out of the eye. Barikian keeps it on the ground with the quarterback sneak. I think he's shy of the first down, but he does cross the 5-yard line. Picks up maybe 2 yards, but just shy of the first.
Yeah, Shante Johnson and Jason Cooney, the defensive tackles, really shut that down that time.
Doesn't look good, Michael. Michael, if it doesn't look good.
So a huge play for Sterling, who has really put together a nice drive on the ground here. But boy, if they were stopped here, how disheartening would that be for this team? And Barikian's going to call a timeout. Something wasn't right as Barikian came to the line of scrimmage, and it could have been maybe that they were getting close to, again, going with a delay of game penalty. And so they stopped the clock with 5:36 remaining here in the half, and a big, big play upcoming here for Sterling.
13-play drive. This is what Todd Green wanted all this time. Haddon Heights not able to have the ball. You're trying to wear them down. And I'll tell you, after a rocky start, those first 2 series, the Sterling offensive line is starting to come off the ball here.
No question about it. They have dominated in this drive. And, you know, if you're Coach Todd Green, you've got to love this, Mark, because you're taking time away from that potentially dangerous offensive Heights. Now, of course, Heights put together a long drive the last time, but that's not real typical of the Garnets. They can hurt you in a hurry, whereas Sterling needs time and would like to shorten this game, I think, as part of the game plan.
Oh, there's no question about it. And give Sterling a lot of credit, because on that Haddon Heights touchdown drive, the Garnets pretty much had it their own way and were pushing the Silver Knights around a little bit. And that's interesting, because last year Todd Green said the biggest thing that hurt us was I thought we were physically weak. Well, they changed that. They went in the weight room. They had mandatory weight room sessions, and he said their attendance in them in the offseason was outstanding. This team has a lot more physical strength this year.
That'll be one of the first things that Coach Green mentions to you when he talks to you. What's the strength of your team? Well, physical strength, because he feels at least this year that they're ready in that regard. 4th and a long one, and a huge play here. Motion, and that's going to kill Sterling.
Motion penalty on Sterling.
Boy, Mark, I don't know how you can come out of a timeout and be on the wrong snap count. I mean, that's just a bad penalty in a crucial part of the game.
What happened to right guard? Mario Milano jumped that time, and you're right, Jack. Now, this might change the call, but I still think they're going for it. I don't see the field goal kickers out there.
Well, it would be about a 27-yard field goal. They will not even think about it and go for it here on 4th and 6.
Again, you got to let Barikian handle the ball here.
He's got it. He's trying to get around the end. Quick pass. Jackson's got it inside the 5, but is it enough? No, they say he was out of play when he came down, and Heights has stopped the Sterling drive. Mark, I'm not sure that would have been enough for a first down anyway. It looks like they had it marked at about the 4. They needed to get to the 3, so even if the play would have counted, I don't think it would have been enough yardage.
Jack, right here, though, Barikian had the tight end, number 82, Chris Conway, in the corner of the end zone. Conway was momentarily open. Had Barikian pulled the trigger right away, he could have got him. Then Heights got Conway, but he was momentarily open. That would have been the option to use.
Well, a real tough break for Sterling as they get it all the way down to the 5 or 4 yard line. Take a penalty. There you see the replay on the play. Take a penalty and then end up with a pass play that does not work. Heights takes over with 5:27 left here in the half and a 7-0 lead. Sims with the carry for only a short gain for Heights.
From a Heights perspective, very fortunate in that play. It looked like the Armand bobbled that ball. Sims was able to still get it and get the 1-yard gain out of it.
To the 10, where it'll be 2nd and 9. What a backbreaker for the Sterling Knights, who really put together a fine offensive drive that lasted more than half a quarter, 14 plays, and it ends up dead on the 4th down. And a flag on the play, and I think again too much time before they were able to get the snap off. That'll be a 5-yard penalty on Haddon Heights. Six penalties on the Garnets here in the first half.
There you go.
You see more penalties often in the first game of the season, but it's certainly not something that Al Malin's got to be happy about here this afternoon.
Again, here's a situation where you might want to roll Armand out and let him try to create something.
Well, he tried to, but had no place to go. He's trying to fight his way through traffic and will be stopped for only about a yard gain.
On the top, Mario Milano. With Paris Moore.
Milano made that stop, but I'll tell you what, Mark, you can see he was pursued very well, and the first man out there was Rob Prinz, who's having another good afternoon today.
That was a play that just never really got in sync from the beginning that time.
Let's keep us the deepest spot. Prince, hit number 80, Prince.
3rd and 11.
Harry, gotta help.
This is a big defensive play for Sterling, because if they can stop here, they'll get the ball back in good field position. Armand trying to sweep around the right side. A flag on the play. He picks up only a few yards, but let's see about the penalty.
Harry Bowler on the stop.
That was a free look. You got to come on quarterback.
It's a hold against Haddon Heights, and I think that'll be declined.
Kind of a curious call that time, because you see how little he has to operate on the short side of the field. I think if you're going to roll him out, you go the other way.
Well, they will let the play stand, obviously, take the 4th down and make Haddon Heights punt the ball away.
The penalty is declined. It'll be 4th down.
So the 5-yard pickup not nearly enough, and the penalty anyway declined. So Haddon Heights with their first punt of the afternoon, and they'll have to be punting from their own goal line. Ryan McAteer back to kick it away. No rush put on by Sterling. They know they'll get the ball back in good field position, and they really will. Jackson fields it at the 35-yard line. Hit immediately, but outstanding field position for Sterling with 3.5 minutes left here in the first half.
Outstanding job, too, by Jackson. He had a couple of people really coming down on him, and to be able to hold on to that ball. And Derek Almo made the tackle. How many quarterbacks you see running down on the punt team? But he's just an outstanding athlete.
I'll give Sterling some credit too, Mark, because they really could have been discouraged after seeing their offense fail on a 4th and 1 that turned into a 4th and 6 moments ago. They stand up tall, give the ball back to the offense, and a good opportunity here for Sterling. Jackson has got a break and a couple of blocks along the left side and gets down to the 21-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, I've really been impressed with the lead blocking I've seen by Sean Gray, number 11. The guy weighs under 150 pounds. He's really been putting his body in there. Watch this, as a lead man there. Boom! Gray, number 11, gives him that lane to get out there. Great job of blocking and outstanding running by Jackson as well.
Jackson again. Muscles his way across the 15-yard line, and another big pickup. Jackson now with near 60 yards in this first half.
And they're going over that left side a lot. Left tackle Chris McLaughlin, not very tall at 5'9", but 265 pounds.
58 yards unofficially for Jackson. That was after his team picked up 14 yards offense in the first quarter. So most of those yards for Jackson coming here in the second quarter. They'll stay with him one more time, and he works his way to the 10, very close to another Sterling first down.
Good job, McLaughlin. Now they need to do an option right now. Let's go. Let's go. Right, so big and strong. No, whatever they do an option. I'm telling you, the option will work right there. It might work.
And we'll have a timeout, and the officials will measure on the play. You can take a look at some of the crowd. Enjoy the beautiful weather here this afternoon. We mentioned that the temperatures in the 70s, light breeze. Kind of day you want to package, Mark, for when we're doing the playoffs in December.
Oh, there's no question about that, Jack. And by the way, this is the last year they'll be having the 4-team playoff. It'll expand to 8 teams next year.
Jackson gets the necessary 4 and has a first down.
Now the key is this going to be 1st and goal or 1st and 10? Where is that ball?
I think it's right on the 10-yard line, so it's got to be 1st and 10. I mean, the ball, nose of the football is right on the stripe.
Well, they put the chains down, so
1st and goal. 1st and goal. This time Baricki keeps it. He tries to get around the end. He picks up only about 2 before being thrown out of bounds at the 8-yard line.
Hey, one thing, the last couple plays I've noticed, Sean Gray, number 11, has actually started. It looks like before the snap. They've got to watch it, especially down this close to the goal line. You don't want to get a procedure penalty.
It is, yeah.
2nd and goal from the 8.
Go, blow! Yo, he said that's his ultimate goal.
They go to the wider side of the field this time. How about that? Number 24, Mel Leary, just reached out. The sophomore grabbed the shirt of Jackson and was able to slow him down. The rest of the teammates swarm him for no gain.
He must have learned that from Price. That's the kind of plays we've seen Price make. Great job that time by Leary.
Michael, fight!
Down to 1:50 to go here till halftime. Still 7-0 Haddon Heights, and Sterling on 3rd and goal will take their second timeout.
Now remember the last time when they did not complete the pass, they did have the tight end open in the far end of the end zone. So let's see if maybe they designed something for the big tight end Chris Conway, the 6'2", 175-pound senior.
Hurricane will come to the sideline and talk it over with his staff. 1:48 remaining. And an interesting contrast, really, in the way this game has gone, Mark. You know, Haddon Heights looked like they were going to have their way with things here after their first possession. They really moved right down the field, but it's been Sterling that's had the better of things since late in the first quarter. They have owned this second quarter.
There's no question about it, and you can sense that Sterling's gotten a lot more confident right now. And you know, either whether they score or not down here, I think this is a team going into the second half that thinks that they can beat this.
How important you think it is, though, right here, Mark, for Sterling to get some points? I mean, they've already been down here one time inside the 5-yard line. Do that twice before you go to the locker room would be tough. But again, though, the score just 7-0. But I think if you're Sterling, you really want to see some points on the board here.
They probably won't do it, but the way Haddon Heights is coming at people and charging people, this is not a bad time to try a draw play. You know you have 4th down anyway to try to go for it. But something to kind of take advantage of the fact that Heights could overrun a play here and there.
Third and goal from the 8. Barikian this time will look to throw. He's rolling out now. Now has a player at the goal line, but it falls incomplete. Derek Armagh on the coverage that time. The pass intended for Paris Moore. Armagh, I don't think, got a piece of it, but he got there enough to disrupt things.
Well, Armagh's one of the best cover guys that you're going to find in the Colonial Conference, so that's a tough play to complete anyway. And again, the pass rush was coming on Barikian as Sterling will call its final timeout. Tough throwing on the run, Jack, when you have those big guys chasing you, too. But as we said, that's what Sterling's going to have to do. Barikian's not going to be able to be a classic drop-back passer with his size.
So can Haddon Heights dodge another bullet? They did it earlier in this quarter, about 4 minutes ago. And they have another opportunity here. Sterling had a 1st and goal at the 10-yard line, but has just been able to pick up 2 yards on 3 plays since. I want to remind you that Holy Cross High School class of '67 will be holding their 30th year reunion this fall. Anybody interested in chairing or being a committee member for that class, you need to call 461-5400 extension 3032. That's 461-5400 extension 3032. Huge play in the ball game here. 4th down and goal with the ball at the Heights 8-yard line.
You know, I would drop Barikian back, and if he sees something in the middle, I would give him the opportunity to run up there, as I called the play before, quarterback draw.
On 4th and goal, Barikian under pressure gets popped. Price hit him, the ball comes loose. Price picks up the football and gets knocked out of bounds. Well, there's the Price that we know of, and boy, did he put a lick on Barikian. I don't think Barikian ever saw it coming. And Price came up around. We said it at the beginning of the game, Mark, he can be a game changer, and this is a huge play.
Jack, again, there as he wallops him, but look how much room you see there. I thought Barikian had some running room there. I think if he's going to be in a classic drop-back situation, those types of things will happen. That's not conducive to what Sterling can do best.
First sack of the day for Price, and it came at a great time for Haddon Heights. Now they have a chance here with the kind of offense that they have with 1:33 left. Armagh looking to pass. He's under pressure. Runs through traffic. Armagh gets away from traffic, still on his feet, and gets hit at the 30-yard line. But how about Derek Armagh making something out of nothing there?
Great open field runner, but I'll tell you, outstanding job done that time by number 5, Paris Moore, who was guarding Price man for man. They sent Price deep, and Moore was with him every step, so great job there.
Eric Arena got through untouched for Sterling, but Armagh really left him in the dust with a couple of great moves. Timeout call by Haddon Heights now. 1:16 to go here in the first half. Outstanding athletic play by Armagh there to pick up 6 yards when it looked like he could have been thrown for a loss.
I think Armagh's answered any questions this first half about whether he can be converted into quarterback. I mean, outstanding athlete. He's shown a pretty strong arm. We know about his running ability.
More school news for you here. Crafters are needed for the annual Haddon Heights Elementary PTG Harvest Festival that will take place October the 25th from noon to 4 p.m. If you'd like more information, call 546-6131. Hard to believe that we're talking about fall and colder weather and a harvest on a beautiful day like this, but it is an early fall day here in 97. A perfect picture day for football. Armagh with a little dump pass. That's the first time we've seen him not display touch. That was a poorly thrown ball. First incomplete of the afternoon for Armagh.
Again, Heights sent 2 receivers on the right side, tried to set up the screen on the left side, but to Sterling's credit, even though that was not a well-thrown pass, Sterling had smelled that out and had that covered pretty well.
Third down, 4 yards.
So it'll be 3rd down and 4 now after the incomplete. Clock will start on the snap. 1:11 left to go here in the first half. 7-0 lead for Haddon Heights. Play action pass. Armagh gets rid of it. Overthrows the intended receiver, Jermaine Moorman.
Jack, there's still 1:05 left in this half. That stopped the clock right now. Sterling's going to get the ball. I mean, if you're Sterling special teams, you're going to think about trying to go in and block this punt here.
Well, I think as a coaching staff, you have to think about that, Mark, because you have an offense in Sterling that, you know, granted doesn't score in a hurry. They have no timeouts left, so it would be a good spot to really go after one here with 1:05 remaining. No pressure on the kick. Washington has it at his own 40 and gets dropped at the 45. So Sterling with one last chance, 56 seconds left. They have owned most of this first half. Unfortunately, they don't have any points to show for it. Have twice been inside the 10-yard line of Heights, but have not been able to get on the board. Down 7-0 here with less than a minute to go.
The one positive is you look at this team now, you look at last year's team, this is a team that's moving the ball consistently a lot more than we saw last year. Of course, last year they had the great running back Dante Walker as well.
On first down, Barikian under some pressure, tried to go for a screen. It does complete it to Jackson. He needs a block. He gets one downfield across the 50 to the 46-yard line. Just shy of a first down. He did not get out of bounds, so the clock will continue to move.
But again, we talk about how Heights pursues plays. Screen passes are the great equalizer against that. And still, even with that, Mel Leary, the defensive end, just missed getting Barikian.
Chris McLaughlin had a lead block out there and couldn't quite get enough of the defender to spring Jackson. 2nd and 1. Barikian again to throw, and he is overwhelmed by Shante Johnson, who's had a big first half defensively. First sack for Johnson, and that will probably do it for action here in the first half of play. You see the clock winding down, and our first half has come to a close. Well, an interesting half to say the least. Haddon Heights scores first, and you'd have to say sort of hangs on as Sterling threatens but can't get on the board. 7-0 Heights at halftime. We'll be back with halftime festivities, statistics, and more for you. Stay with us.
WBC heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis at 6'5", 250 pounds. He has nothing to fear except he's been called the strongest, the toughest, the dirtiest. On October 4th, Andrew Galata may be called heavyweight champion of the world. Caesars Atlantic City presents Lewis versus Galata.
Healthcare reform, unemployment, taxes. What is your congressman's position on today's issues? Here's your chance to ask. Congressional Call-In will give you the opportunity to speak directly to your congressman and to ask questions about the issues that concern you. Remember, your link to government is your congressman. So tune in to Congressional Call-In on Garden State Cable TV, Channel 2.
The folks here at Sterling High School enjoying a beautiful afternoon. Unfortunately, their team blanked so far on the scoreboard. You see our halftime score, Haddon Heights 7, Sterling nothing. The only scoring coming in the first quarter of play with 39 seconds left. It's this play right here. Derek Armagh on a 12-yard keeper mark for the only scoring of the first half.
Of course, Armagh has great scrambling ability, Jack. 32 yards on 4 carries. But watch this as Heights gets a little bit of a break. You see number 85 right there. Steve Libby has his tape stop right there. Falls down. He was in perfect position that time to make the tackle, but he fell down. Armagh was ready to cut back, and he gets in there for the touchdown.
Derek Armagh has had a very good first half here this afternoon. He was 3 for his first 3 before missing on a couple of completions late in the half, and he has 53 yards passing. Let's take a look at the first half statistics here of this half. And you know, statistics don't tell everything. This game looks pretty even, and it pretty much has been. There you see the 53 yards passing for Heights. Of course, that's their bread and butter. 38 yards on the ground, and 3 of 5, as we mentioned, for Armagh. The penalties have hurt Heights in some critical spots. They have 55 yards already at penalties here in this first half. For Sterling, they really put it together. They had a first possession that was not too pretty. 3 and out. A penalty gave them a first down. They went 3 and out after that. And then they were able to put 2 drives together that failed late in the first half. But as you can see, 69 yards on the ground, 1 of 3 in the air came late in the half, and just the 4 penalties.
Jack, the one key thing is the fact all 53 of those yards were in that one touchdown drive, passing yards for Haddon Heights. Since then, Sterling has really controlled things. I know they didn't score and get in there, but the Silver Knights have to be a confident team at this point.
Well, Mark, we mentioned the late drives by Sterling, or the drives in the second half. The first one got down to about the 4-yard line before it died. They had a play 4th and 1, and they picked up a very critical penalty, and then they were able to go again. But this is their second drive, Mark, when they were 4th and goal from the 8, and it's Price that makes the play.
Yeah, he makes the sack that time, and again, Barikian never saw him. 16-yard loss it would turn out, even though it was 4th down. But that shows you how dangerous Sean Price is. And also, it shows you if you're Sterling, you don't want to get in a drop-back situation like that. You want to keep Barikian moving. One of the reasons why is so something like that doesn't happen and he's hit on his backside. One
of the big questions will be whether or not failing twice inside the 10 will break any momentum that Sterling had. That question will be answered in a moment. We'll be back with second half action. Right now it's Haddon Heights 7, Sterling nothing.
Every day, teenagers face decisions about drugs, relationships, even the thought of suicide, and many don't know where to turn for answers. And parents have it just as tough. They want to help, but sometimes they just don't know how. Well, here's a solution. The Boys Town National Hotline, 1-800-448-3000. Parent or teen, you'll talk to someone who understands and who can really help. That's the Boys Town National Hotline, because there's always help at the end of the line.
What would you do if you were on fire? I don't know. Jump in a tub? No. You gotta stop, drop, and roll.
If your clothes catch fire, you gotta drop to the ground. If your clothes catch fire, you gotta roll round and round. You just stop, drop, and roll. Get down on the ground and
Along with Mark Narducci, I'm Jack Hibbert, enjoying a beautiful afternoon here at Sterling High School. 7-0 Haddon Heights with the halftime lead as we get set for third quarter action. And the game really is as close as the score. I think if you're Haddon Heights, Mark, you got to feel pretty good about leading 7-0 after your opponent had the ball twice inside the 10-yard line and couldn't score.
You know, we talk about Heights' big plays on offense, but it's been the defense that has made the big plays here so far for Haddon Heights.
Jackson with a line drive kick that is fielded and then dropped, but finally fielded by Drew Ray. Ray hit at the 21-yard line. We'll have to see about the Heights offense. They started out very strong in this contest, scored in the first quarter, and really haven't done much since.
By the way, Drew Ray, one of those freshmen that Al Mallon not afraid to use. I mean, his history has been playing guys as freshmen if they can get in here. And you know, with Ron Israel from last year's team, Dennis Scuderi, Tracy Moore, the list goes on and on. He thinks if they're the best players, they go in.
Trips left all the way out of your screen on first down. The give is to Sims.
On the carry
and the running back ahead for about 3.
Well, I don't think Haddon Heights has established any kind of a running game. Yes, Armagh got the 32 yards on 4 carries, but they haven't gotten Sims off the snide yet. 7 carries, just 6 yards in the first half.
Pickup of 3 there. 2nd and 7. And same formation with the 3 wide receivers to the left side. A delay give this time to Sims. He has some running room across the 30 and a first down for Heights as Sims with his most productive run of the day all the way out to the 34-yard line.
Great job that time, because what Haddon Heights had done a lot in the first half, Jack, they put people to one side and then they would run to the other. This time they ran to that side, and a great job there. You saw the block by Ed Eckert, number 50 on that replay, the offensive guard who really did the job to spring Sims loose.
Quick pass over the middle. They were looking for Price, and the ball was knocked down. Trying just a quick slant into Price, and Milano got a hand up on the football.
And a good thing he did, because again, they love to go those quick plays to Price where he can do a lot of the running himself.
But a penalty flag thrown on the play, and it looks like illegal procedure against Heights, their 7th penalty of the day.
Illegal shift on Haddon Heights. 5-yard penalty. It will repeat first down.
So it remains first down, but now will be 1st and 15. Look at some of the coaching staff of Sterling. Todd Green on top of the roof here at the press box. For the head coach not on the sideline. 1st and 15. Another delay to Sims. He fights his way across the 30, keeps the feet moving, and nearly makes up for the penalty yardage. Good effort there by Sims to keep the motor running and pick up an additional couple of yards.
2nd down, 11 yards.
Good job too by the center, Jason Cooney, that time on the block to spring him initially.
Quiet here at Sterling, isn't it, Mark? Not a bad crowd here today. I mean, for both sides, but the Sterling fans just haven't had a whole lot to get excited about. Armagh turns on the speed, comes across the middle. Price should have had it right through the hands, and he would have had a first down.
You know, it's interesting, as intimidating a player as Price is, that time it looked like he heard footsteps.
Yeah, I agree with you. Take a look.
Again, a great rollout by Armagh, and he lofts it up, put a little bit of air, but you saw at the end there, Price took his eye off it.
He sort of turned his head.
This is a big play for the Sterling defense here. 3rd and about 10. Make it 3rd and 11. Big play right here. They're showing blitz. We'll see how many people they come in with.
Armagh, quick step drop. They do get it to Price at the 35. Avoids 1 tackle, avoids 2 tackles. Still on his feet to the 49, 50-yard line. Great individual play by Price.
Tackle by number 15, Nick Washington.
Well, he didn't hear footsteps that time, did he?
The only footsteps you heard were his.
He certainly made up for it. They love to go with that tight end screen that time, have him delay, and then just go out short and give him a chance to pick up a lot of yardage himself.
Well, Price known for his defensive prowess, and he's had 1 huge sack today, but doing a lot of talking on the offensive side of the ball. His 3rd catch. And he has a first down for his team at midfield. Another quick drop. Armagh again out in the flat, has a receiver in Nieves, and he's across the 40 for another first down. 13-yard pickup for Nieves, his first catch of the day.
Again, Haddon Heights is using these quick 3-step drops. Sterling's not getting any kind of a chance to give Armagh a pass rush.
Armagh now 6 of 8 passing. And a whistle and a timeout. Heights will need to burn a timeout, and they'll stop the clock with 9:07 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Haddon Heights started the game with a little bit of an offensive flash, and they start the second half much in the same way.
By the way, it does not get any easier for Sterling. Next week they take on Clyde Folsom's West Deptford team. And again, you talk about the pecking order of the Colonial. Paulsboro and Woodbury are considered the top 2 teams, and then after that, a lot of people think that West Deptford could be there. And just as I said that, we got a final score there. Whoa. Haddon Township 16, West Deptford 7. Just I'm saying that about the Eagles. Boy, that is a big win for Chris Mitchell. You remember last year they won the 4 games, Haddon Township, and were close in a lot of others, Jack. That's a huge opener there.
First and 10 on the 37-yard line. Sterling.
So after the timeout, it'll be 1st and 10 for Haddon Heights. Keep it on the ground this time and give it to the freshman Drew Ray. Ray's first carry of the afternoon is good for about 5.
Stop made by Harry Bowler.
We, of course, next week will be at Eastern High School. Shawnee versus the Vikings next week on Garden State Cable. Second and 5. Again, Ray, this time with room on the right side.
Ray on the carry.
Caught from behind by Harry Boulder.
By Harry Bowler.
And Ray short of the first down by about a yard.
3rd and 1.
Again, they went trips left and then ran to the right side because they're trying to get Sterling's defense lined to that one side and try to run it the opposite way. Sterling reacted well.
Let's go, Blow!
Same formation with trips to the left this time. Armagh will try to keep it and will get the first down. Trying to stop him defensively was Steve Libby, but Armagh with enough strength to pick up 3 and a first down. So Heights has had the ball here for 4.5 minutes of this second half. A drive that started back on their 20-yard line. They are now at the 25 of Sterling. Ray again, the lone back in the backfield. 3 receivers to the left side. They'll give it to Ray, and he is stopped after only a pickup of a yard.
Ray picks up a yard.
Nice stuff inside that time. Again, Steve Libby there.
Harry Bowler and Mario
Make the play.
Milano on the stop.
Pretty far away.
Also, Paris Moore giving good support from his position in the secondary there.
Second and 9. Again, identical formation with the 3 receivers split out wide to the left. Delay give to Ray, hit in the backfield and dropped. Big enough pop that time from Mario Milano to get Ray off balance and stop him in the backfield.
I'll tell you what, Milano's played an outstanding game, and again, he just barely got him, but got enough of him. There you called it, Jack, on the delay. See, he almost broke it, but just enough to bring him down.
4-yard loss on the play, so it'll be 3rd down and 14. Play action pass. Armand with a little dump job to Jermaine Mormon. Mormon trying to fight his way through traffic, but is gang tackled as he crosses the 20-yard line. Decent pickup, but well shy of the 1st down.
And Mike Barikian.
Boy, Barikian had a shot at him a little earlier. Didn't get him initially, but credit Barikian for staying with the play and getting down there.
Xavier! Come on, let's go. Mark.
An injury on the play, so we'll have another timeout here. It looks like number 9, Noel Nieves, is banged up a little bit. Well, one of the questions, Mark, coming into this season for Haddon Heights was, how is the converted receiver / running back going to do at the quarterback position? I think he's answered that question pretty well here this afternoon.
Well, what I like is, Jack, and that last play was a great example, the touch he's shown, because when you switch positions like that, that's usually the toughest thing to get as a quarterback, but he's not overthrowing balls or anything like that. He's shown tremendous touch, especially on those short passes, and then lets those Heights athletes run for more yardage.
Well, Nieves appears to be pretty shaken up down there on the field right now. 5:39 left here in the 3rd. Still the first possession of the 2nd half for either one of these teams. Well, as bad as Nieves looked a moment ago, he's able to get up and run off the field, as you see, on his own strength. So that's a good sign.
How about Armand? 6 for 9, 90 yards passing.
You know, Mark, as big a play as Sterling had in the 1st half on 4th down, this is a huge one for Haddon Heights.
Well, again, you would think that Armand will keep the ball and again, maybe try to hit somebody short or else try to make it himself scrambling.
Sims replaces Ray in the backfield, gets the call and gets stopped. Big defensive play by number 53, the senior Harry Bowler, who made the first hit, and then his teammates joined in, and the drive by Heights is stopped. A drive that lasted over 6.5 minutes ends right here.
Watch Bowler right there. He just flies in there and gets that first hit on Sims.
Well, if Sterling was guessing, they certainly guessed right that time, Mark, because remember, Sims came in the backfield to replace Ray. So you had to wonder whether or not the call was going to him. It did, and Sterling was right there.
I just thought as dangerous as Armand was, you may want to keep the ball in his hands that time. Easy to second guess from up here, though, right?
Still 7-0. And Sterling still very much in this football game. Quick give inside to Jackson, who had a big 1st half. And he starts the 2nd with a pickup of about 3.5.
That was a drive that lasted almost 7 minutes that time for the Garnets. Gives Sterling a lot of credit for persevering.
Mark. Come on, guys. Paris, back up.
2nd and 7. Barikian avoids 2 big sack attempts, stays on his feet, and struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. Or a lot of action there, not much gain, but the could have been a lot worse. Shante Johnson was right in on him, and then Price not far behind.
I'll tell you, Barikian did a great job that time giving a second juke on Sean Price. As you mentioned, he'll first get by Johnson, as you'll see right there. Now watch the move he puts on Price. There it is. And that may be out of a little fear when you see Sean chasing you that way. One of the great no gains that you want to see.
So 3rd and 7. And they'll give it to Jackson, who I thought had room around the right side, but then when he cut back in is met in a hurry by the Haddon Heights defense. And Sterling is going to have to punt it away.
And again, who's running him down there? Sean Price.
Tackle made by number 50, Ed Eckert.
Another injury.
Official timeout.
And another injured player. And this looks like it may be Price on the ground. It is. Sean Price was on the bottom of that pile. Does not look too serious, however, at the moment. 3:39 left here in the 3rd quarter. A long, almost 7-minute drive by Heights stalled in Sterling territory, and now the Silver Knights, with only 3 offensive plays and no first downs, will have to give it back to that Heights offense. But we still have a very tight contest, as you can see, just 7-0.
You know, it's going to be interesting too in the last quarter to see if players start cramping up. Last week I
think it's what you've got there, Mark.
Last week I went to a game, Jack. It was one of the most humid days that I saw for football. I saw Hamilton and Oakrest, and those players from both teams who were well conditioned were just cramping up there. And you also notice with Haddon Heights and Sterling, these are 2 teams that use a lot of guys both ways. So the stamina factor really will play a key.
I think that's what happened with Price. He's trotting off the field now, but I think he did have a cramp there on the left leg. They'll continue to work on it, I'm sure, over on the sideline. You mentioned it's a beautiful day. Of course, we're in the shade here and a light breeze, and it's just perfect in the press box, but it's kind of warm on the field. The temperature's in the mid-70s today, and some football pads on and run around in that kind of weather. It's a little bit warm. I think football players would rather see it in the mid-50s. Again, Heights comes. They nearly blocked the punt in the 1st quarter. They got nabbed with a penalty. And here again, just a 22-yard punt for Sterling. And Heights will start right at the 50-yard line with their 2nd offensive possession here in the 2nd half. The Garnets with a 7-0 lead. 3:11 left here in the 3rd. First and 10 for Haddon Heights with the ball at the 50-yard line. Sims is back there in the backfield as the lone running back. They will give it to him on 1st down. Only a yard as Steve Libby stood his ground and was able to catch Sims right at the line of scrimmage.
Steve Libby. Harry Bowler.
You know, we picked on Steve Libby a little bit at halftime when we showed him falling down, I guess, in the replay that Armagh scored on. But overall, he's had a pretty good, solid day.
Oh, he really has. He's done a great job containing things. And again, we said the key is those defensive ends turning everything inside.
2nd and 9. This time they split the receivers left and right. Armagh looking to his right, and he has Nieves open. He is caught after a pickup of about 7.
Oh, Nieves. Tackle made by Paris Moore.
Moore with a nice job on the coverage there. Mark not to allow Nieves to pick up the 1st down.
And again, I don't see Price back in the game yet, Jack. It's interesting. Sterling almost can be a little more daring with him out of there. You know, they can come at Armagh a little bit more.
3rd and 4. Big play here for Haddon Heights. Armagh, quick step, quick out, and it's incomplete. The ball went in and out of the hands of Ryan Michaleski, the senior wide receiver. He was wide open, but couldn't bring it in. That would have been a first down. Well, you know, you look at Mark, the fact that Armagh is like 7 for 10 today, but he's had a couple of drops too in those 3 incompletes.
One thing though, I really like their schemes of those short drops.
Line drive punt, and it goes right on pass. Now Washington has to field back. He's in trouble. Back at his 2-yard line. Well, Nick Washington showed a little bit of his inexperience there as a sophomore. Mark should have never let that ball get by him on the initial kick. Never really moved to come up to get the punt, and then it played him, and that really puts the Knights in a hole.
Well, even when it did get by him, then he's better served not trying to field it and seeing if it'll go in the end zone. But Drew Ray, number 2, great punt coverage. See, there you see it. It goes by him now. At that point, Jack, you're so close to the goal line, you might as well let it go. And look at Drew Ray. And of course, Derek Armagh.
1st and 10, and Sterling way back in their own end, but Jackson will help that cause as he picks up 11 and gets his team out of the shadow of their end zone. Jackson unofficially near 80 yards this afternoon. He's been a real bright spot for Sterling. 1:05 to go here in the 3rd quarter. There's the time on your screen. On 1st down, Jackson once again. Jackson across the 15 to the 17.
Might be coming back. We saw a flag there, and it is on motion.
So that'll wipe that run out. And they'll replay 1st down, only it'll be 1st and 15 this time.
Motion penalty on the offense.
Just the 5th penalty on Sterling, but again, in inopportune times here deep in their own end. And of course, the one that really sticks out was the motion penalty that they had on 4th and 1 at the 5-yard line of Heights in the 2nd quarter.
Now Heights is gearing on Jackson. They have to be. We haven't seen Gray carry the ball in a while. Might be a good time.
Well, I think it's Jackson once again, and I think there's a fumble on the play. Heights thinks they have the football. What a big play this could be, and they do. Haddon Heights with the 1st turnover of the ball game, and deep in Sterling's territory.
Jack, it looked like Ed Eckert recovered that ball. Now they're saying Price did. There it goes, ball going on the ground. Boy, that is a big play.
And a backbreaker for Sterling. Deep in their own territory. It'll be 1st and 10 for Heights, just outside the 10-yard line. And now it looks like Jackson is going to leave the field injured. Out of your picture there to the left-hand side of the screen, there you see Jackson now walking off the field. I think he's partly upset about the fumble and partly injured. Boy, hard to blame Jackson. He has done about everything they've asked of him here this afternoon. Run the ball very effectively. Unfortunately, he puts it on the ground in a very key spot here.
How about Price back in the game? You may want to look to him, huh?
Take the inside away, please.
On 1st and 10, Armagh with a long count. They'll give it to Sims. He does not get outside. A penalty flag thrown on the play. And once again, it is Harry Bowler in to make the stop of the backfield.
Looked like a holding on Haddon Heights that time. And now it's going to be an interesting situation if you're Sterling. Do you want to put him back, or do you want to take that loss?
I think you put it back, Mark. You take the field position here, push him as far away from the goal line as you can. This will put it back at the 20-yard line, and yes, it will be first down, but at least it's 1st and 20.
Ricky! All right, let's go, Chase, right here.
29 seconds and counting down here in the 3rd. 1st and 20 after the penalty.
Hurry up, hurry up.
Their 8th of the afternoon. Delay give. Here comes the reverse. Price used this a couple of times last year. He gets a block. Look out. Price touchdown. 20 yards away. That's a play that they used a lot last season. He is dangerous on that, and he made it work here this afternoon on his first running play. But wait a minute, a flag on the play. Looks like a personal foul probably after the play. I think the touchdown will stand, and Heights extends their lead.
Jackie said he did this last year. He did it against this Sterling team, so they have seen it last year. It looked like number 20, Mike Benjamin, got an outstanding block that time, finally freeing Price for that touchdown run.
Shut up, man.
Boy, I'll tell you what, it was a good time for it. You pick and choose when you use the big plays, and they picked a good time there. The extra point is missed, but the touchdown is good with 11 seconds left here. Let's take another look at the big touchdown play by Sean Price.
Looked like Justin Shockley, by the way, got a piece of that PAT. Now here it comes. And Armagh, look at him leading the blocking. Price telling them where to block, and Armagh there, and we said Benjamin got a block there. He was never touched. Keep in mind, we said before, there's a guy that runs a 10-900 meters. He's as fast as anybody on this field.
13-0 Haddon Heights now on the strength of that 20-yard end around by Price. Yeah, you mentioned the 10-9 in the 100 meters. He also won the South Jersey Group 2 shot put last year at 53 3¼ inches. So he's an athletic individual, to say the least. He also, I think, averaged in double figures, somewhere around 14 points a game in basketball.
Jack, let me ask you, if they decline the penalty and they're at the 10, do you run that play? You know, that's the kind of play you run when you have a little more space to go. Just a thought.
Probably not. You know, you pick and you choose your spots, and that certainly seemed to be a great place for it after the penalty. It could be a backbreaker here for Sterling, now down 13-0 in the closing moments. Look at this little squib kick, and is it covered? Yes, it is. Nice play by Tom Gibbons to get over there and jump on the football, but that nearly turned into an onside kick. Little trickery by Al Malin and the Garnets here.
Jack, you know who went down there and was on Gibbons? Derek Armagh. I mean, how many things has he done in this game, whether it's special teams, quarterbacking, on defense? He's just had an all-around game.
And an injured Sterling player now with 11 seconds left here in the 3rd. Well, you know, Mark, we talked about and highlighted Price right at the beginning of the contest, saying that he can be a game changer, and he certainly has done it here again this afternoon. A big defensive sack on a 4th down when Sterling was threatening in the 2nd quarter. And a great touchdown end around to give them a 13-0 lead. Here's the near onside kick here. You can pick up how the player's injured. You can't really tell anything from our vantage point, but
well, Gibbons went in there that time, and he didn't have a great angle when he fell down. That's all I could see from that.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be a scary thing, Mark, for coaches in this Colonial Conference to think about the fact that Price still has a year remaining. I mean, he's a guy that has the tools and has certainly each time we've seen him on Garden State Cable has shown it and has done it here again this afternoon. Looks like they may be checking out the knee over there, and I'm not sure
who that is. Yeah.
Again, we're in a delay here with 11 seconds left in the quarter. Heights just scoring on the 20-yard touchdown end around by Sean Price to make it 13-0. Well, you know, as players going to be helped from across the field for Sterling, which is good news for the fans here. You got to wonder if the Knights will not look back. And that, by the way, is Mario Milano, who was injured on the play. And what a loss that would be for Sterling. He's had a great afternoon. Milano will be helped across the field. And I think it is his right knee that they're looking at.
Well, he was on the bottom. We talked about Gibbons coming on there and getting it. He was on the bottom, and you're right. That would be a very, very key loss. He's had a heck of a game.
But, you know, Mark, I'm thinking that if the score holds up here this afternoon and Sterling doesn't get on the board, or at least they lose this contest, I mean, how will you look back on this one with an eye toward missed opportunities? I think will be the story of this ball game, particularly in that second quarter when I really felt like Sterling had Haddon Heights reeling a little bit.
There's no doubt about it. They were taking it to him. They were winning it at the line of scrimmage. And you know what, Jack? 11 seconds left here. There's still some time here. They're 2 touchdowns down.
This probably will be the last play of the third quarter. Jackson on the ground across the 35. He's been a real workhorse. Good to see him back in there. He was nicked a little bit in the last possession. He picks up 5 here on the last play of the quarter. Well, the only scoring in this third quarter of play, a 20-yard end around by Sean Price to extend Haddon Heights' lead to 13-0. We'll be back with fourth quarter action in a moment.
This Halloween, dare to be scared with pay-per-view. From Horrormeister Wes Craven, save your last breath to scream. An ancient terror that feasts on fear. Beware the Relic. 'Tis the season for classic chillers, Halloween 4 and Halloween 5. And treat yourself to a special encore of Halloween Havoc. This Halloween chill with the thrills on pay-per-view. First it rumbles.
Did anybody feel that?
Then it quakes.
Get everybody on a truck and get them out.
And before you know it, the excitement comes rushing home on pay-per-view.
This thing is gonna blow.
He doesn't have enough time.
Pierce Brosnan, Linda Hamilton.
Don't look back.
Can they survive the fury of Dante's Peak?
We're not going to get out, are we?
An eruption of thrills crashes home on pay-per-view.
12 minutes remain on a beautiful afternoon here in Sterling, except for the football team. They're down 13-0 as we go to the fourth quarter of play. Knights with the football at their own 35-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 5 as we get things started here in the fourth quarter. I'm Jack Gibbert along with Mark Narducci. Glad to have you with us on the debut of high school football here on Garden State Cable TV. First of a great season coming your way. This time, for the first time, they give it to Macario on the end around. He's been kind of a decoy in motion most of the day. This time they hand off to him and pick up a first down. Pick up of 8 on the play. First carry of the afternoon for Macario.
43-yard line.
Jack, one thing, though, you need to have better balance throwing just with 9 passing yards. We know the Silver Knights love to go on the ground, but you have to at least show a semblance of a passing game. That's hurt the Silver Knights here today.
Just 1 of 3 in the passing department this afternoon. Jackson had just a couple of guys to beat. Looked like he was going to break through that pack for a moment. He does pick up about 8 or 9 yards. It'll be 2nd and short. And Mark, you know, you talk about, well, a little balance. Here's a good place for a pass play. If you're Sterling, I think a waist down on 2nd and 1, and I think if you're Heights, you're probably not looking for it. Of course, it probably won't happen either.
Great job again by Derek Armall. He stood up Jackson as Jackson was in full speed. Yeah, I agree with you, by the way, on the pass here.
2nd and 1. They keep it on the ground to Jackson. He keeps his feet moving. Is to the 40-yard line. Another first down for Sterling. A pickup of 7 on the play. Jackson nearing the 100-yard mark for the afternoon. Whistle now, an official's timeout, as I think they're working on some equipment on one of the Haddon Heights players.
Jack, unofficially, I have him for 102 yards rushing right now. So Terrell Jackson, who we expected to see a lot of, and we certainly have. One thing, if you're Sterling, you have to be happy with, I think, the surge that they've gotten from the offensive line, and basically how they've been able to run the ball here.
But the bottom line is going to be how many points they put on the board today, and so far they haven't been able to make a dent. Again, Macario on that little reverse. A little gain inside the 35 to the 33 to pick up of about 7.
You know why it's so tough to get such big gains? That time the 2 tacklers were Shante Johnson and Sean Price. When your defensive linemen are running down the field 7 yards or so to make those tackles, that really shows a lot of team speed.
Price really hobbling right now though, Mark, and he looks like he's in some pain. I don't know whether that leg cramping back up again or not. Quick hitter inside to Jackson, down to the 22. Another first down, a pickup of 10.
There's a look that time right there. The final hit, great burst by Jackson. And again, Armand making a lot of tackles from his cornerback spot.
Well, once again, Sterling has Heights reeling a little bit. And they are threatening with the ball on the 23-yard line. Again, it's Jackson. He's got room this time on the left side. Run down from behind on a fine play by Sims, or I think Jackson may have had 6.
They're tired. They're hurt.
Nice pursuit by Sims, Mark. He came from the backside, and it really looked like Jackson had some running room that time.
There's no question about it. This is a team, as we said, they'll have as good a team speed as just about anyone in the Colonial, except for maybe Woodbury, a team that can really fly.
2nd and 3. Macario in motion. He gets the ball again, looking for a hole, and won't find any this time. And in fact, I think they're going to get a penalty that may really hurt Sterling here. It looked like on the front end of that play, there could have been a hold on one of the receivers. And it is. Would have been 3rd and short, and instead is going to be 2nd and long after the penalty. Tough break for the Knights.
Penalty is for holding.
2nd and 13 now instead of 3rd and only a couple. Sterling quickly to the line of scrimmage with 9:16 left to play here in the fourth quarter. 9:16 left in your ball game. Ricky in a long count. Quick hitter to Jackson. This time he goes no place. Jackson stood up right at the line of scrimmage by Joe Preen. Preen stood him up right in his tracks. In fact, he may have thrown him for a yard loss.
Watch number 72, Joe Preen. Just won't get beaten on the block that time. There you see him. And that's a great tackle with how strong Jackson is.
Macario in motion this time. Jackson drops the ball again. He recovers, but it'll be 4th down and long.
You know, if Drew Ray, number 2, could have picked that up on the bounce, he would have gone in for 6. He tried to go that way instead of falling on it. Sterling gets a break, but Jackson's down.
Once again, he was hurt in the last series of plays. And is down once again here. Ends up being a 3-yard gain. Could have been a lot worse than that. They'll have one more play, but it'll be 4th and 11. Seems, Mark, that every time this Sterling team has threatened today, something bad has happened. This drive, as was one of theirs in the second quarter, really sent backwards by a penalty. Keep wondering if they can just overcome some of these mistakes, like this fumble here by Jackson. Take another look at the play.
There it is. Now watch Ray right there. He ran by at that time instead of trying to fall, going for 6. As I said, if he got that bounce, he would have been in for 6.
And they're pulling on the foot of Jackson, so I'd have to think this is another cramp. In a long second half, because we've been interrupted a couple of times with injuries like this. 8:11 left to play here in the 4th quarter. I mentioned next week that we'll be at Eastern High School for a night contest between the Renegades of Shawnee and the Eastern Vikings.
Jack, I saw Eastern last night. Wanted to get a look at some of the real good sophomores they have. Adam Talafero and Ben Dandy. They have a set of backs that you wouldn't believe. That's going to be an outstanding game. Of course, we'll see one of the great quarterbacks in South Jersey and the junior Mike Conley from Shawnee. And I'm really looking forward to that matchup, because that game, the winner of that game, then all of a sudden starts to think maybe they can do something in that Olympic Conference American division. Of course, Shawnee with a tough opener today with Cherry Hill East.
4th down and long for Sterling. Think about the pass. Barikian just 1 of 3 so far this afternoon. Play action. Coming over the middle, there was contact down there, and a flag is thrown. Armand looked like he got in the way of the route that was being run by Macario, and I think he's going to be called for the interference.
Once again, though, Jack, even though that ball was thrown in traffic that time, the tight end, Chris Conway, was wide open in the corner of the end zone. Now watch.
This is a real judgment call, Mark, because you have to think about whether or not this was a catchable ball. It was overthrown, but it looked like the route was interrupted.
Look at Conway, number 82, right there by himself. Hey, by the way, on that play, that was a great replay. Did you see when Price was coming in on the quarterback? Sean Gray, all 147 pounds, picked him up and did a great job on that block, giving Barikian the protection.
Now Malin going crazy on the sideline across the way. He actually came out on the field. But irregardless of all that, it is still a 1st down for Sterling, and a 1st down just outside the 10-yard line.
All game I've been calling for a quarterback draw to take advantage of the pursuit that Heights has. Still haven't seen it.
1st and 10 for the Knights. They finally get a break to overcome a mistake. Jackson gets a block, and he's got a touchdown.
Jack, he got 2 great blocks. Paris Moore, number 5, and his lead back, number 11, Sean Gray, did an outstanding job to clear the route.
And you mentioned it early. Gray, at under 150 pounds, has done a great job today blocking for Jackson. Take a look at the stand-up block.
There it is, right there. And now you'll see the other one by 5 coming in your screen. He held him up just long enough, held Benjamin up. How about Jackson? Every time we think he's hurt, he comes back in and does something.
It clearly is just a cramp, but as soon as he can get rid of it, he's plenty productive. All right, key extra point coming up here. 13-6 your score. Kick is up, and it is drilled through. So with 7:45 remaining here in the fourth quarter, Sterling finally on the board. They cut the Heights lead to 6 as Haddon Heights up now 13-7.
10-play, 70-yard drive for the Silver Knights. And Jackson, 23 carries, 134 yards, and that one touchdown.
Well, it's nice to see Sterling get in the end zone after failing on the first 2 times they were in the red zone this afternoon. Both of those opportunities in the second quarter, they were unable to capitalize, and Jackson finally gets pay dirt for a real workman's effort here this afternoon.
Can't say enough about Sean Gray's blocking today. But Jackson's gained a lot of those yards thanks to the sophomore making his first varsity start.
Boy, have the penalties hurt Heights here this afternoon. Key penalty there on 4th down. They've been penalized now 10 times. And still lots of conversation, and that's a nice way of putting it, going on the Haddon Heights sideline between their coaching staffs and the officials here this afternoon. They obviously are still very upset about that interference call. And again, I think you could argue perhaps we couldn't see it clearly in the replay that the ball was overthrown, and if the ball is uncatchable, well, then it's not interference. But I think the call there, Mark, was pretty accurate. I mean, in the sense that the route was interrupted. I don't know whether he'd stopped his route, but he got interrupted. On the return, it's Nieves, and he takes it out to the 36-yard line. So now it'll be up to the Heights offense to be able to put something together, take some time off this clock. Of course, they don't have to score, but they'd love to add some insurance points here, up only 6 with 7:38 remaining in the ball game.
Last year, of course, Heights won this game against Sterling 21-7. Sterling's done a much better job here offensively this year.
Armah looked a little confused on that play. Now he's flushed out of the pocket and will scramble for a pickup of a couple. You know, the other thing, Mark, going back to the interference call that you have to think about too is if the ball is really not catchable, then as a defender, you don't have any need to hit the guy. If he doesn't touch him, then there is no interference.
Right, right. Boy, look at that. That was a busted play, and he got 3 yards on it. Shows his athletic ability again.
Well, you can't say enough about Armah. He's played a great game here this afternoon. As I said, definitely answered any questions people had about whether or not he could handle this quarterback position. 2nd and 7 as finally the Sterling crowd comes alive here. Armah will try to sweep around the right side. He's got some daylight. A flag thrown on the play. And I think this one's coming back.
Well, it is. I think Haddon Heights, number 50, Ed Ecker's going to get caught for holding that time.
If it is, it'll be the 11th penalty of the afternoon for the Garnets.
And what's interesting about that hold, Armah had really broken free just right before that.
See if you can pick up the hold.
There's the guard pulling. Well, maybe it wasn't Eckert, or maybe it happened before that.
Whatever the case, it's coming back, and that'll wipe out a first down that was picked up by Haddon Heights. There is an injured Sterling player on the field, so we've got another stoppage of play here with 6:42 remaining in the ball game. Huge penalty against the Garnets. Instead of a first down in Sterling territory, the ball goes all the way back to their own 29, and it'll be 2nd and about 17 or 18. We mentioned the ball game next week. There it is. There are the details. Shawnee versus Eastern at Eastern High School. And folks, if you're watching this game on Saturday, October the 4th, that game will follow us momentarily at the completion of this ball game. Again, if you're watching on the 4th, that'll be the first airing time, the special time at 10 o'clock. Little late night football for you here on Garden State Cable. Same day coverage, though. And again, the premiere date, Saturday the 4th.
You know, it's an interesting thing about that game is Eastern does not have big defensive backs, but they're very quick. Shawnee probably has the biggest set of receivers that you'll see in South Jersey. It's going to be a real classic matchup. Of course, Shawnee beat Eastern twice last year in the regular season in the South Jersey Group 4 semis. Jack, we're seeing Milano back in the game for Sterling coming in now. That's certainly a positive sign.
Yeah, he looked like he was really shaken up on that near offside kick, onside kick.
Now we have Paris Moore down in the field. He's getting up.
And he looks like he's okay. Again, you mentioned the heat, and it may be getting to some of these players. Well, Mark, we mentioned at the beginning of the game that Price can be a game changer. Might be time to call on the big guy here. And you need him. 2nd and 17. Armah with a good play fake. He's under pressure that time by Libby. Gets flushed out of the pocket, gets popped by Barikian at the 33-yard line.
Steve Libby doesn't have the speed to catch Derek Armah, but what he did, Jack, he did a great thing. He made Armah actually go wider than he wanted to. He wanted to go up the field, and Libby took that away and really set the play up for Barikian to make that tackle.
Well, and he immediately got him on the run. I mean, there was no chance for any pass play there because Armah was running for his life. 3rd and 13, and if you're a Sterling fan, I think you'd want to be on your feet here. This is a huge play in this ball game. Armah, straight drop back. Good coverage downfield. They go with the middle screen to Price, and he gets tripped up on a great play by Harry Bowler, who's had a big day. He got just enough of Price to stop him before he could get momentum going. This is huge, Mark, because once Price gets moving, he is dangerous.
Yeah, you're no doubt about it. And you're right. Bowler sniffed it out that time. As we see it here, tight end screen. They're waiting for Price to get open. And he held on for dear life.
The punt by Heights, a fair catch is called. And Washington, who made a mistake on the kickoff or a punt earlier in this half, nearly messed up a fair catch by his own player. Jackson was able to catch it, and Sterling, Mark, with great field position and lots of time. 5:38 to go in the ball game.
I said this before, no matter what happens here, this is a Sterling team coming off a 2-7 season with still a lot of young people. No matter what happens at 13-0, Jack, it would have been very easy to fold the tent there. Here they are, still with a very good chance to win this game.
Jackson gets a block around the left side, had one man to beat, and I tell you what, give some credit to Mike Benjamin for slowing that play down, because I think if Benjamin doesn't get him, Jackson could be off to the races. 6-yard pickup for Jackson, now 140 yards in the game. And I'll tell you, I know he's been hurting a little bit, Mark, but I think you give it to the guy who brought you to the dance. So keep Jackson moving and keep the clock moving. 5:05 to go. We could be in for a great finish here. Jackson in the middle, first down as he crosses the 45.
Well, it's the old theory, keep giving it to him until you show you can stop him. I would still mix it up a little bit because they're playing for him now.
Of course, they may be playing for him, but Here's a rare carry for Gray, just his 4th of the day. But you know, it's one thing to play for a guy, Mark, but I mean, if the guy's still picking up 5-6 yards a carry, it's awful hard to not go to him.
By the way, great tackle by the freshman Drew Way. Has he shown us a little something here today?
Second and 7. Clock continues to roll. 4:10 to play. Macario in motion. He gets the give. There is a flag on the play. Away from the play. Macario is stopped for no gain. And there is a flag on the play.
It's the second time in a straight time when Sterling tried to go wide with Macario there that they drew a flag.
Now, I just saw Mel Leary kind of throw his hands up in the air for Haddon Heights, but it definitely looks like it's going against Sterling. Mark, how many times have you seen this? That flag was thrown totally on the back side of that play. They're going to the right side. It was thrown way over here toward the near side of the field. And I'm sure the coaches will look back on the film and say, you know, we didn't need it.
Well, Jack, one thing, your theory about keep handing it to Jackson, I mean, on the 2 plays ago, they just get 3 yards. Now they get the penalty.
Yeah, and, you know, Macario took that same play, his first carry for 8, his second carry for 7, but the last 2 times that he has carried it have been very ineffective. I think it worked as an element of surprise earlier, but I'm not so sure that it's such a great play at this point. 4 minutes exactly to play. After the penalty, it is 2nd and 17. Sterling with a lot to overcome here. Good blocking for Baricki, and he overthrows his receiver. Picked off there by Mike Benjamin. Benjamin bringing it back. It's a big block from Price, and we'll take it across midfield to the 47-yard line.
Tackle made by Rob Brent.
Well, on only 2nd down, I don't know. It may have been a little early for the call. You know, you're asking a lot of Baricki, and he hasn't thrown the ball that much today, and only his 4th attempt. He's overthrown a couple of receivers, got fortunate on one on an interference call. Not so fortunate here as this thing's picked off.
Well, I can't fault it because they had been a little predictable here. They're trying to change it up. That's a tough ball to catch when your receiver's backing up that way.
Sims with the carry, and Heights will try to use some clock here with 3.5 minutes left to play, but that interception may have done it for Sterling.
Jack, there's a difference between going long. If you're not throwing much, you want to try some intermediate routes, some shorter routes. Going for a bomb is maybe almost too much at once when you've only attempted 3 passes.
Sims again, and that'll be a 1st down and a killer for Sterling.
And the other thing is Sterling's now going for the ball and trying to force a fumble, and that makes a guy like Sims that much more
They
dangerous.
spot it back, so it's not a 1st down. He only got to the 38-yard line, so a yard short. I don't know, and a timeout's going to be called. Official timeout is going to be called as we have another injured player. I guess the thing, Mark, that you look at is, you know, they come out in that offensive series. They've got great field position at the 45-yard line. They give it to the big horse. Jackson has had such a great day. 2 consecutive carries. Boom, they have a 1st down. They go away from it for 2 plays, end up picking up a penalty, and then throw an interception. It's just like all of a sudden the game plan went away from what had made them successful, and it backfired on them a little bit today. Unfortunately, I think what it's going to boil down to again for Sterling, if this score holds up, is those great opportunities that they had not only in the red zone but inside the 10 in the second quarter and came away with no points.
Yeah, there's no question about it. The other thing is, though, Jack, I think as the year goes on, no matter what your philosophy is on running the ball, and for as long as Jim Gallagher was here, Sterling liked to run the ball and everything, you've got to have a little bit of diversity, and I think that's something that they're certainly going to have to work on. You need more than 9 passing yards in a game to win, especially against a team like Heights.
Jackson again with that cramp will have to leave the action. 2:38 left to play, 3rd and short. And if you're Sterling here, about your only hope is a stop here, although I'm not so sure Heights wouldn't go for it on 4th down. Third and 1. Sims again the lone back. Armand may just keep this thing with such short yardage. Now they'll give it to Sims, and he's got plenty of yardage. Still on his feet down to the 16-yard line. And a first down. More importantly, the clock continues to roll with 2:30 to play.
See, they're going for the ball. They're trying to tackle Sims high, and he's just too strong. He shrugs that off.
Again, Sims, the carry inside the 15. Just a couple, and a timeout will be used by Sterling. 1:59 to go in the ball game. Of course, we told you about next week's contest. We've got a great lineup coming up for you again this year here on Garden State Cable. Cherokee and Lenape will follow Shawnee and Eastern. That'll be a little war between the sister schools.
Yeah, I mean, Cherokee getting off to that 2-0 start, but I mean, they beat a Willingboro team in triple overtime, and I'm not sure Willingboro is going to come close to matching last year's record of 4-5, and then they barely get by Triton. So it is 2-0, but it's kind of been a shaky 2-0 for the Chiefs.
And a big one after that with Rancocas Valley and Holy Cross on our schedule. That ought to be a great ball game. Morristown, Northern Burlington, Collingswood, Haddonfield, Cherry Hill West, Pensacola, Overbrook, Camden, and the playoffs. Full season still to come for you here on Garden State Cable. We've gotten off to a good start here today with a very competitive ball game, and one that I know Sterling would have liked to have had a perhaps different result in, and barring a miracle, it looks like they're going to be on the short end of this score today. But Mark, I think you've got to take some consolation in the fact that in moments today they have really completely outplayed this Heights team.
Oh, there's no question about it. Give Heights a lot of credit too for showing some resiliency despite being outplayed for very long stretches.
2nd and 6. Clock will start from 1:59 to go here on the snap of the football. Armand with the keeper. Caught from behind. And gets only back to the line of scrimmage, and another timeout called by Sterling.
Smart play by Armand, though. I mean, he's near the out of bounds. He knows not to go out of bounds and stop the clock. Even when he gets tackled for a little gain, he's still impressive.
He's had a terrific afternoon, has Derek Armand, both offensively and defensively and on special teams.
Of course, Heights next week takes on an Audubon team, a young team that, to be honest with you, figures to struggle this year in the Colonial. The thing about the Colonial is there's a lot more balance in this league than there had been in years past. You know, a lot of years it had been either a Paulsboro and everybody else, but I think Woodbury made a statement with the shutout of Haddonfield last night. I told you I expected West Deptford to be a good team, and then we get a score that Haddon Township beats the Eagles. So there's no automatic W's. That's the thing about this Heights team, too. As much talent as they have, especially in the skill areas, this is a team that's not even considered a contender. And I think that shows you kind of the depth of this league.
One more timeout remaining, I think, for Sterling. They'll use it probably after this play. Armand takes a big hit as he gets to the 21, picks up 3, and Sterling will use their last time out of the afternoon. Clock will stop with 1:41 to play. I think if you're Heights here this afternoon, Mark, you know, there were some bright moments, but some mistakes I know that Al Malin will want to work on this week as far as the penalties are concerned. They've got to cut down that number. It hurt them in a couple of critical areas. Of course, the most critical was the one that gave the touchdown, and you know, there can be some debate, I suppose, on the call, but irregardless of that, 11 penalties, just too many in one ball game.
Well, keep in mind, this is a Heights team that started 2 seniors on defense, 4 on offense. This is a very, very young Heights team. You know, you think about Sterling being so young with all the sophomores, but Haddon Heights is too. And I think from a positive standpoint, despite those mistakes, despite the fact that your wide receiver last year is now your quarterback, you have to make that transition. If you can come out of here with a W, that's a very, very positive sign. But you're right, they will have to improve, because you can't make these kind of mistakes against the Woodburys and the Paulsboroughs of the world and expect to survive.
They split Price way out to the right side. 3 receivers to the left. It's all a deke, I think. Nope. Are they going to throw on 4th down? How about that? Over the middle, ball tipped around and into the hands of the receiver, number 25, Jermaine Mormon, at the 1-yard line. Looked like a pick, and it turned into a completion.
I thought Barikian had it there that time. He was in good position on coverage. Now, he had to extend his body pretty far, and let's look on the replay here and see if that maybe caused him to miss the ball. Watch number 3 coming right in. See how far he had to extend, Jack? That's a tough catch to have to make.
1st and goal. Sims will put the icing on the cake.
And Sims, big lead for a touchdown for Haddon Heights.
1:08 to play in the ball game, and Sims with a 1-yard touchdown run.
Well, you know, people are going to look at this score, and it almost looks like not a rout, but it looks like Heights had it handily, and that really hasn't been the case here.
No, not at all, especially when you think back to just moments ago. Sterling had the ball on their own 45 with 5.5 minutes left. They were only down by 6. And then all of a sudden here, the score 19-7. No, you don't learn a lot sometimes from the box score, and you won't in this one, that's for sure. You look at the shutout that the Heights defense pitched in the first half, and you think, boy, they really dominated. Well, that was just the opposite, really. Sterling dominated that first half for the most part outside of the Heights drive, and had some golden opportunities that they weren't able to capitalize on, and turns out to hurt them in the end.
How about Armall today? 9 for 13, 119 yards passing, and 10 carries, 52 yards. Just a great all-around game for the young junior.
19-7 our score. 1:08 remaining here in the 4th. I said 19-7. Of course, with the extra point, it is 20-7. That's the correct score on your screen. Our scoreboard here is 19-7. It was the point after was no good. Okay, the point after was no good. So it is 19-7. Kennedy with a line drive kick picked up by one of the up linemen there. Number 52, Matt Murphy, returns it to the 35. So Sterling takes over, down by the score of 19-7 with just 1:02 remaining in our contest.
You look at this and you say the leading ground gainer for Sterling is a junior. The quarterbacks, a sophomore. The other running back's a sophomore. Again, there's some optimism here. I think in 2 years, this is a team that has a chance to contend. They're very excited about their freshman class. They say their freshman offensive line is actually bigger than the varsity. So the freshman and sophomore classes are very impressive here at Sterling.
Nick Washington in at quarterback now, and his first pass attempt is no good.
For Sean Ray, broken up by Drew Ray.
Clock stops with 57 seconds to play. Barikian will have the rest of the day off. He, of course, plays both ways. And it has been a long afternoon for him.
Hey, he'll have some very good days here as a varsity player at Sterling. A very, very heady player.
Washington under a rush and sacked. Price, Johnson, and Leary all in to make the stop. A long loss. Let's take a look at this defensive play.
You know, we've talked so much about Price, but what about Shante Johnson as well? I mean, Leary came in to clean up, but Johnson got to him first. What a day he's had here.
Yeah, I think defensively he'd probably be the star of your day. I know that that Price had the big sack on 4th down in that second quarter that ended the second consecutive time in the red zone for Sterling. But you're right. I think Johnson has been a real strength here this afternoon. Jackson on a delay give, and that'll do it for your ball game. He picks up about 3 to end what for him is a tremendous day, nearly 150 yards, but unfortunately for his team, not so great. Final score of your contest, Haddon Heights 19, Sterling 7. We'll be back to wrap things up here from Sterling High School in a moment.
Every weekend there's lots of college football you want to see, but can't. One solution, get cloned. Get yourselves tickets and hit the road. Here's a better game plan.
ESPN game plan.
Every weekend, great college football games from top conferences you can't normally see, sent right to you. So subscribe now.
The ESPN game plan. It can't be duplicated.
Check Friday's USA Today for Saturday's game plan.
Looking for some adventure? How about a little escape?
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Get on the road to discovery with Education Showcase. Explore the wonders of nature, the mysteries of science, the beauty of music and the arts. It's waiting each month on Education Showcase, an award-winning program brought to you in the public interest by this cable system.
19-7 your final as Haddon Heights winner here this afternoon in the debut of football here on Guard State Cable TV. Tough day for Sterling, Mark. I think they'll look back on this game, as we mentioned, as a game of missed opportunities, and yet you look at the scoreboard and you read in the paper maybe about the game tomorrow and you say, boy, Haddon Heights really handled them. But really, you think about the first half, 2 missed opportunities inside the red zone in the second quarter, and then even despite that, they have a great chance in the fourth quarter with 5.5 minutes left. They start a drive on their own 45, but it ends right here on a tough play. They didn't throw the ball much today, but when they did here, it really hurt them.
Yeah, it did. And as you know me, I'm always calling for passing the ball, but I think they tried to get too much. Look, they're going for the bomb here, and watch the Sterling receiver. He's backpedaling almost like he's fielding a punt, and Benjamin right there easily to pick it off.
The pick, and of course, Haddon Heights went on to go offensively there and ended up capping off the scoring here this afternoon with a 1-yard touchdown run that extended their lead to 19-7, and that was your final. There's a look at the final statistics this afternoon. You see the passing yards by Heights, and really a great day by Derek Armaugh, who was converted from a wide receiver a season ago and ends up going today 9 for 13 in the passing department and 119 yards. That's a pretty good debut, Mark.
And throw in the 52 yards he got on the ground, and how he executed, how he played special teams, and despite that pass interference call, a great game on defense as well.
The one downer, of course, for Heights, the 105 yards in penalties. They'll need to do something about that. Sterling really looked good on the ground today. As you mentioned, they're going to need to work the pass in a little bit. They end up only 1 of 5, and of course the critical interception you saw a moment ago. But how about Jackson? Out of the 150 yards rushing this afternoon, he had 149.
Yeah, the 26 carries for 149 yards. The great 12-yard touchdown run that he had. And I think Terrell Jackson is ready to assume that role as kind of the lead guy now with the graduation of Dante Walker.
So Sterling ends up on the short end of a 19-7 score here this afternoon. But I think as a young team, they maybe did some things here this afternoon that they can build on for the rest of this 97 season. Don't forget, next week here on Garden State Cable TV, we will be at Eastern High School. It'll be a night contest between the Shawnee Renegades and the Eastern Vikings, and we hope you can join us then.
And Jack, again, another contrast, a team Shawnee that likes to go through the air, and again, Eastern, which loves that ground game with the wishbone attack.
Well, it ought to be a good one. This one was a good one and a good way to start here this afternoon. A close ball game to the end, but Haddon Heights ends up the victor. The final score, 19-7. For my partner, Mark Narducci, for everybody here at Garden State Cable TV, I'm Jack Hibbert. Thanks for being with us, everybody. We'll see you next week at Eastern.
Apesar da porta ainda mandar